Gallup's latest State of the Global Workplace report reveals that 20% of the world's workforce is experiencing loneliness daily. Social isolation and chronic loneliness have left devastating effects on physical and mental health. But how does it affect work and productivity? Joining us to share key findings and offer insight on what organizations should do now is Vipula Gandhi, Head of Workplace Advisory and Managing Partner at Gallup. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So Vipula, how does Gallup conduct this annual study?
So this annual study, McKinsey, is to examine how the lives of employees are going at work and outside work. And this is the largest study of its kind to quantify employee experiences. And it has data from about 160 countries and 20 years of trends that helps us understand how employees' aspirations and needs are changing over the years. And a study of this size obviously requires logistical prowess to ensure that we are not just bringing relevant data, but also ensuring that the insights are available to leaders to make changes to improve lives. So we collect this data through 100 countries, through face-to-face interviews, where we literally knock the doors of people and ask them how their lives are going.
Wow.
In about 40 countries, it's done through telephones. 1/3 of the world is offline. So to ensure that the right rigorous methodologies, sampling frames, and weighting is used to ensure that we bring the most important insights for leaders to make change is something we are extremely proud of.
Yeah. What are some of the most important findings?
I'll start by summarizing that it's fair to say that life at work is actually improving in absolute terms throughout the world. However, given the pace of change and the opportunity we have, we still have broken workplaces. Now, what does it mean for us? It means that majority of employees around the world today are turning up and work not as inspired and enthused as we would like them to be. It affects our GDP to a tune of 9% that we lose due to low engagement. Loneliness, you mentioned, 1 in 5 report being lonely. But important to note, McKinsey, that if you are a younger employee, less than 35, or if you're in a fully remote job, you are more likely to be lonely than not. And you noted it affects physical, mental health, and these individuals are coming to our workplaces. Finally, I will bring you back to the US. US has led the world in employee engagement, and our economy is a testament to that. However, we have a concerning data point that the engagement in the US has fallen from its peak at the peak of pandemic in 2020 to Q1 2024. And this drop of 6% actually means that 10 million less employees are turning up at work inspired than they did at the peak of pandemic. And this has implication not just in productivity, but also mental health.
Yeah. Let me ask this. What should organizational leaders do to fix these issues that you've just discussed with us?
Leaders need to be aware that there is a disruption all around us, not just restructuring and efficiencies and costs that are needed, but also technology has impacted not just what we do, but where we do work, and even with whom we work. We are coming out of great recession right here in the US. That is a lot of changes going on, and hybrid and remote enabled jobs are kind of new in our world, and the practice of management has never been more challenging. The role of manager, we have found, is responsible for 70% of the variance in performance at team level, and they themselves are struggling. They are struggling with more negative emotions, and they're in charge of inspiring others. So they need an oxygen mask first. So leaders need to empower managers and train managers to manage in this new world and ensure that managers are delivering one meaningful conversation a week to everyone in their teams, because we know that works, and ensure that our physical separation due to hybrid and remote work doesn't psychologically separate ourselves from being committed to the jobs that we do and feel fulfilled along the way.
Yeah.
I want to just leave you with a hope there, because exceptional workplaces that we study are able to do that and are able to buck this trend.
Yeah, that's amazing. And if you're a manager out there, or even an employee, or just an interested party, we do have some information we can pull up on the screen about where you can go to see more on these findings. You just need to visit Gallup.com. Thank you so much for joining us today and filling us in. We really appreciate your time.